So during the launch of the iPhone in 2017, Apple made a major announcement announcing that the iPhone 7 will not be coming with the headphone jack. Now, this made a lot of headlines, with some people criticizing Apple for abandoning the headphone jack, while some praised them for their courage as being the first tech company to abandon the headphone jack. But the truth is that Apple was not the first company to abandon the headphone jack. The only reason it made headlines was because it was Apple, number one, and then secondly, Apple has always had a history of abandoning things before other companies will follow suit. Like for instance, they abandoned the CD-ROM drives first from their MacBooks to make the MacBooks thinner, which other companies had to follow suit and started producing computers without CD-ROM drives. In 2012, a Chinese company called Oppo released a device without a headphone jack. It was dubbed the Oppo R5. The device came with a pair of USB headphones in the box. So it wasn't long after the Oppo R5 was released, another Chinese tech giant called Vivo also released its own smartphone, which was called the Vivo X5 Max, which was even thinner than the Oppo R5. Oppo cited the same reasons for removing the headphone jack that Apple cited, which of course we are going to look at all of them one by one later on in the video. The 3.5mm headphone jack on its own is a descendant from the quarter-inch jack. It was invented to make it easy for telephone operators to make connections on their switchboard back in the 1870s. The design is simple and has proven to withstand the test of time. I mean, when was the last time you used tech from 140 years ago? So Apple and its counterparts now feel that it's time to do away with this 140-year-old legend. Now, I like the old saying that goes, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. So the reason why they are trying to fix it when it ain't broken is what I don't know. So Apple gave a couple of reasons for dishing out the headphone jack, which was the same reasons almost every other company gave. So let's hear the first reason.
So first, we've shown that we can use Lightning for our inbox headphones and to adapt all the older devices through analog interfaces. And it is a great connector for doing that, and there's a very large base of users who can all take advantage of it.
The first reason Apple gave for abolishing the headphone jack is that they have proven that you can actually play music from the lightning port of your iPhone or your iPad without needing a headphone jack. I mean, this on its own is not a reason. It's not a reason because it's actually been around for a long time. Like, I remember back in the days, the Nokia N95, N96 and all those series, they usually come with this particular pair of headphones in the box where you can plug on the charging point of the device and you play music from there. Bringing an alternative to something that is already existing, that is not even better than what is existing already, that even adds more inconvenience to our lives or to the life of the user, is not worth it.
Now we know there are people in the world who do have some analog old connected devices out there. So we've also made this. It's an adapter, Lightning to Mini Phono audio adapter. And we're going to include that in the box with every iPhone 7 and 7 Plus as well.
So Apple tells us that they've included an adapter in the box or a dongle that you can use and still use your old headphones. This on its own is really crazy because you can't be going out every time you want to listen to music. You have to put an extra adapter on your device to listen to music. That's one. Then secondly, if you want to be charging your phone while you're listening to music, that is not possible. Yes, I know some of you might argue that you can use a wireless charger. No matter how fast the wireless charger is, it's not as fast as using a cable. After the iPhone 7 and iPhone 8, from the iPhone 10, Apple stopped including the adapter in the box. And if you want to buy the adapter, it's mad expensive.
Our smartphones are packed with technologies and we all want more. We want bigger, brighter displays. We want larger batteries. We want faster processors. We want stereo speakers. We want taptic engines. We want all of that. And it's all fighting for space within that same enclosure. And maintaining an ancient single-purpose analog big connector doesn't make sense because that space is at a premium.
So the other reason they give is that removing the headphone jack affords a larger battery. So this one sounds like a rational point, right? Sounds really rational. Like if the headphone jack that is taking up so much space in the device can be removed and I have a larger battery, meaning if my phone used to last for 5 hours, now my phone can last for 10 hours because the headphone jack is gone. That really sounds nice. Like, I mean, because I can buy earbuds from the market that will enable me listen to my music and do stuff, you know, because the headphone jack is no longer there. This really sounds nice, but the problem with this point is that that is a lie. So let's look at the HTC U11 for instance. The HTC U11 houses a 3000 mAh battery and has no headphone jack. However, its predecessor, which is the HTC 10, features a headphone jack and still has a 3000 mAh battery. I know I wasn't really that good at mathematics, but I can actually tell you that 3000 is equals to 3000. So how come the one that had a 3000 milliamp hour battery had a headphone jack, and the one that had a 3000 milliamp hour battery does not have a headphone jack? Let's look at the iPhone 6 compared to the iPhone 8. Now the iPhone 6 has a 1810 milliamp hour battery, while the iPhone 8 has a 1821 milliamp hour battery. Now that is about 11 milliamp hour difference, right? And yet the iPhone 8 does not have a headphone jack, while the iPhone 6 has a headphone jack. The Samsung Galaxy S9 has a 3000 milliamp hour battery. It still has a headphone jack, while the iPhone 10 has a 2716 milliamp hour battery and yet has no headphone jack. If you look at this chart there, you'll find out one thing. The phones that have headphone jacks have large batteries, while the ones that don't have headphone jacks have either smaller batteries or the battery size is actually the same with the ones that have headphone jacks. So the other reason they give is that the headphone jack is taking up so much space in the device that is stopping them from adding other innovative things like the taptic engines on the iPhones and other important tech. But a guy here on YouTube named Scott Allen actually added a headphone jack to his iPhone 7 in China, and the iPhone still works well, and this headphone jack was added without removing the taptic engine or any other thing inside the device. So there's still a lot of space to add whatever you want to add. It's just about the business part of it. That is the reason why headphone jacks are being removed in some devices. The 3.5mm headphone jack was not invented by Apple. So therefore, if third-party accessories makers make accessories that will use the 3.5mm headphone jack and sell them to iPhone users, Apple does not make any money out of it. But on the other way around, Apple owns the rights to the lightning port. So any third-party accessories maker or manufacturer that makes any accessories that will use the lightning port will have to pay Apple a fee or have to pay Apple a patent right before they can use it. And that is a lot of money for Apple to make. The other reason is that removing the headphone jack makes the devices thinner and lighter. It's trendy to be thin these days, you know. I mean, you look at Vogue magazine, you see all these models, they're all looking fine and slim. You turn on the TV, you see the models on the runway, they're all looking lightweight and very small. And that is what the tech manufacturers or phone manufacturers are gearing towards these days. But I hate the fact that most companies are citing the elimination of the headphone jack as a means of making devices slimmer. Now let's go back here for a second. The LG V30 features a headphone jack, 3300 milliamp hour battery, an expandable storage, and dual camera setups. And it also weighs 158 grams. On the other way around, the HTC U11 does not have a headphone jack. It has a single camera, not dual cameras, and it has a 3000 milliamp hour battery, and yet it weighs 169 grams. Or let's compare with them brands now. The iPhone 8 and 6 each have a 4.7-inch screen and one rear camera, yet the iPhone 6 is lighter, that's at 129 grams, and the iPhone 8 is 148 grams. Oppo told us that they removed the headphone jack from the Oppo R5 to make the device slimmer, thinner, and to look more elegant. Some months later, Vivo released the Vivo X5 Max, which was even more thinner than the Oppo R5, and it still featured a headphone jack. So who's lying and who's telling the truth? Companies like Apple also tell us that removing the headphone jack gives the device the IP68 water and dust resistance rating. And after watching most of the water resistance tests that have been done here on YouTube between the iPhones and the Galaxy phones, you even realize that the Galaxy phones are performing better inside water than the iPhones that don't have headphone jacks. Apple also says that the future is wireless, so therefore we don't need wired headphones anymore, so therefore this headphone jack needs to go. This point is actually valid, but with the way things are going now, it still doesn't mean that the future is completely wireless. I mean, we are certainly not even in a completely wireless present. I also find that statement a bit hard to believe owing to the fact that wireless earbuds are not cheap, they are expensive. Take for instance, the Apple AirPods that was announced alongside the iPhone 7. The AirPods are not cheap. They go between $160 to $200 in some places. That is not a small amount. That is a very, very expensive amount in some countries and in some nations. So taking out the headphone jacks and giving wireless options that are not cheap is not a solution. So removing the headphone jack has come with a very big premium price. You can't charge your phone while you're listening to music at the same time. As I said earlier on, some of you might argue that yes, you can still charge while you listen to music. You can use a wireless charger. Number one, wireless chargers don't really charge your devices that fast. Secondly, if you have to get a wireless charger that can give you substantial amount of juice while you're watching a movie and using your headphones, your wireless earbuds, that means you have to pay some far more extra money, between $50 to $100, and that is some big change. adding to the cost of what you already bought the phone and the cost of what you already bought the earbuds. How about paying $150 to $200 for the Apple AirPods, or you're paying $120 to $150 for the Galaxy Buds? I mean, what I'm saying is, people that can afford the Galaxy Buds or can afford the AirPods can actually do with their headphones, their regular wired headphones, which are cheaper. How about you forget your AirPods at home when you're traveling and you're already at the airport? You can't just run into somewhere and buy maybe a $5 earpiece just to manage. This is because headphones that use USB-C or the lightning ports on the iPhones, they are quite expensive. You get them between $30 to $50. Whereas the former, which is the 3.5mm jacks, you can get them between $5 to $10. And the quality or the sound quality will still be the same. You guys let me know down in the comments what you think about the removal of the headphone jack, okay? So thank you so much for watching. As usual, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. I'll see you again in the next video, alright?